Hey, Bruce, do you think Dejuan will be ready to go in this one?
No, I don't. I don't think so. He's made some progress, but he just is starting to get on the court and shooting and just a little running in the pool. I think our hope, our long-term hope, or best hope was 2 weeks, but probably a little longer than that. And you got to get him back in practice also before you can take that chance.
He was just looking pretty rowdy there at the end of the Texas game on the bench, so he looked pretty agile. I was just wondering.
Yeah, he at least now he's weight bearing and he's shooting a little bit and doing some stuff, but we just didn't know it's a unique injury, and we just did not know how long it would take him. And he's got pretty good pain tolerance, but it was more severe injury than just a sprain.
And you've mentioned several times Davion Bradford surprised you this season. Has Nigel Pack surprised you in any ways?
I'm happy. He's doing what I thought he would do. I thought he was this good. If you watched him, whether high school or AAU or whatever it was, he was pretty elite. And again, it's not always transferable from high school to college, but he did some special things, especially if you go back to the EYBL, where you're playing against a lot of the guys that we're playing against now, and he was special. So and again, I'm really happy he's done it. If he wouldn't, we'd be in big trouble. But not that we're not in trouble anyway. But obviously, he's helped us, because of his play.
Is he even farther along right now than you think guys like Cam and Barry were as freshman guards? I mean, I guess Cam was injured, but
yeah, Cam if you go back, Cam had the best numbers, and then he got hurt. But I think probably, I would say he's been a little more productive, but he's had to be, we've really had to depend on him in games. So, he's getting more looks, and he's getting a little more aggressive. We keep telling him, we got to get, he's got to get at least 10 shots up if possible a game, and trying to get the ball in his hands more, obviously.
All right. Thanks, Bruce.
Yeah.
Next question to Tim Fitzgerald.
Hey, Coach, after you went back and watched the Texas game, how much better was the team?
I mean, we've made big improvement. There's no doubt about that. Obviously, you got to get a win somewhere. That's the goal. That's why you play the game. There's, from Texas A&M after the Baylor game, you got Nigel Pack. You've had a little bit of continuity with the guys in the lineup, even though you don't have Dejuan, and you haven't had Montavious for a long time, but it gives us a little continuity. I think our ball movement is better. And I would tell you our defense in the last 10 minutes was pretty good. The rest of the game, I don't think it was bad. They're just really, really good team. I mean, that is as talented as team. I know Baylor's really good, but you start matching kids and depth, and they're as talented as anybody. And we did some good things and hung in with them. We just had the one stretch, Tim, that we've had all year where I said to our coaches, we went back to what we were in that one little stretch, and we had our struggles offensively, and that's where they made the run. But then, to our guys, they've done it all year. They keep coming back, and they fought back and got off the floor and gave us a chance. Now we got, again, just a little more improvement each time, and hope we can find a way to get a win here.
You mentioned something that I honestly found baffling about the game. I'm watching the game and I'm thinking, their defensive rotations have gotten so much better. They look better on defense, and yet here is Texas shooting 65% in the first half. And with that said, you were down 4 at half. And honestly, Coach, I can't explain it. Can you help me here? How you
Well,
guys hung in there?
Yeah, I think our offense was much better, obviously. And if you go back to the second half of the first time we played them, we scored 40 some points and against them. And we showed them that we could score against them. And this is what we got to do. And I credit to our guys and our coaches. That's what we did. We found ways to score, not just in our set plays, but a little bit of continuity offense and the making the next pass, making the next play. I wouldn't say we're perfect on defense. The rotations, they got a couple things, but I think we had better idea what they were doing and how we could stop it. It's just, they just jumped up and made shots. I mean, it's just plain and simple. But we jumped up and made shots too. So we stayed in there. It was one game, I guess, we were able to stay in there with offense, more than the defensive part. And our rebounding, too, has been much better. You look at second chance points, I think we won that 11-2. You look at all the other stats that you consider: points off turnovers, we won; points in the paint, we won; second chance points, we won; fast break points, we won; and bench points, we won. But we didn't win the game. But if you study the game, if you go back to other games where people, the first time we played them, they kicked our butt, all those stats, I promise you, would be Texas winning by 10 or more on all those other stats.
A couple of guys that I'm intrigued with. And Antonio Gordon seems to be refining his game, kind of zeroing in better on what he needs to bring to the floor. What all has he changed for you guys?
Well, I think he's accepted his role. He feels comfortable, with doing, again, what he does. And I think you were the one that asked a couple of weeks ago, some of the guys keep trying to do things they can't do, or they force the issue. And right now, Tone's not doing that. And again, he's not perfect, but 9 rebounds, leads us on the play hard chart, 8 points. Make one more shot, maybe another free throw, and it's a really, really good game. But it's just I think he feels also that there's no, we don't have anyone to really put in for him. So he feels a little more comfortable that he's going to stay in the game and doesn't have to go prove himself and try to do something he can't do. But I think right now we have a little better idea of some roles, which we didn't. And again, Tone, you got to remember, Tone did not, he had no spring, no summer, missed most of the fall, missed parts of early practice, missed again 21 days in December. So now, again, for him, this has been his most, consistent time on the floor, since last season.
My final thing, Luke, I think he played 20 plus minutes against Tech, if I'm correct, and 11 against Texas. He hasn't broken loose offensively quite yet, but does he change the way teams have to defend you because of the respect he garners at the 3-point line?
That's part of it. Plus, again, I think he knows his role. And, he drove once in the first half and tried to go on Jericho Sims, and we were all kind of watching the film and like, what are you trying to do, Luke? But for the most part, he stays within it. And the other part, he's been pretty good defensively, which I think I'll be honest, I'm surprised. You're going against really good guards, and he's been able to switch and stay in front of them. He stays spread out, gives us space. He jumped up and made a 3 the other day. So he's done a nice job of fitting in and figuring out how he can help us.
Thanks, Coach.
Another question for Kellis Robinette.
Hey, at least when Luke tried that, he did go with his left hand after driving, so he at least got the shot up.
Yes, he got the shot off. Yes.
You mentioned this a few times. You don't have anybody to put in behind Antonio. Does that mean Siri and Carlton are hurt, or what's their status?
No, I'm just saying that, Siri's he's just a young guy, and he's got to learn. It's hard. This is this step up to college basketball is a hard thing, especially the defensive concepts on it. And we're playing teams that play small ball or spread you out. He right now, Siri's probably more a backup at the 5 than that. And the same thing with Carlton. That's one of our, and it's more the defensive part of it than anything. And especially, the teams we've been playing, they're playing small ball. Again, we're going to play Oklahoma State, and I guess Isaac's the 4, Cade's the 4. I'm not sure who's the 4. So, it's tough for those guys to guard those people. And, and Siri's a great young man. He texted me the other night, just said, "So sorry, coach. I'm trying." And I just told him, "Hey, I appreciate it. I understand this is hard. It's a big step. Just keep working at it." And when he would be our third, I guess our third 5-man, I guess, just because of his athleticism. Carlton's probably a little better offensively, but the defensive part, he just never, because he missed so much, it was hard for him to catch up.
All right, gotcha. Thanks, Bruce.
Next question to Tim Fitzgerald.
Coach, following up on Siri, this is kind of a bonus year. I mean, he's apologizing
Yes.
because he's not given much, but he's getting minutes that he wouldn't probably have gotten. Would you be open to redshirting him next year, even after all this, or is that just too much?
I think we just have to wait and see how much progress. I think this is for all these guys, even Carlton. I've talked to Carlton. I said, "Carlton, I would have redshirted you this year because you were hurt. Right. You didn't get to practice. You didn't get to work out. You didn't get to do anything. And any time you got gives you an experience that you would have never been able. Even Luke, we wouldn't have played him. You're talking." Luke didn't get back to mid-January. You would not have played him. So any of these minutes that they get, experiences that they get, are, as you say, it's in a way it's a freebie for them. And you now use experience. Now what do you do with it? Whether it's Siri, Carlton, Luke, any of the guys that have had this opportunity. Now where do you go and what do you do with that and how hard do you work?
I'm going to be blunt here. Some of the past guys you've had on your bench, I'm not sure how advanced they were going to get. Siri's a guy that I watch, and he's so raw, but yet there's something there, isn't there?
Yes, he's got great upside. He really does. He has instincts, and I can read you the text I sent him the other night. I said, "You have instincts that other guys do not have on our team." And he can go make plays that other guys can't. He just the game is just too fast for him right now. And again, he might have to come in Saturday and help us. I'm not saying especially with them, they're kind of small and athletic and bouncy. So again, I haven't given up on him. I just think we've gotten into a little bit of a better rotation, especially you talked about defensively, but he has some natural ability that other guys. Now, I think he wants it. Now when you get past the season, it's like anybody. What do you do with it? The Barry Browns, the Dean Wades, those guys. They use their experiences to put that work ethic and double, triple gear. And then they put the time in, and that's why they made big jumps. And, hopefully Suri's that same kind of guy.
Let's coach.
Sorry. One last question to Ryan Black. Go ahead, coach. Or go ahead, Brian.
Yeah. Hey Bruce, certainly I understand, the majority of the questions being focused on the previous game because of just how close the final score was. But obviously, you guys were only down 5 to Texas Tech at halftime, and you were down only 6 to them with 2 minutes to go. I guess when you look back at the Texas Tech game too, what were the other things that also carried over from that game into the game against Texas?
I think those stats I mentioned to you, points off, whether it's turnovers with them, second chance to toughness points. We've done much better on all of those. Obviously, Antonio's rebounding has been a big factor. I think that has helped us. Our defensive rotations and blocks outs has helped us. I mean, we're doing things better, both offensively and defensively, than we were, 2 weeks ago. Now, can we make a little more improvement and not have that one bad stretch in the game? And even you go back to Oklahoma State when we played them first time, we're winning I think it's under 3 minutes, under 2 minutes and a half with Joey playing and limited guys. And, again, we had a little stretch at the end of the half. We pushed them again in the second half, but then that little stretch where, can we be a little more consistent to give ourselves a chance?
Bruce, what is the key to taking these positives from the last 2 games and making sure that they're sustained into these next few games?
Consistency. One, keeping the faith and believing that you can be successful. We've made improvement, and keep doing what we've done. And then we got to get more consistency so we don't have that one bad lapse. And then the other, I think the other thing is just execution at gut check time. These experiences are all new to us. And I kind of laughed because I told the coaches going into Texas, I said, remember when we played Texas when Dean and Cam and Barry's freshman year, Dean had a shot to win it at the end, or tie it at least. And, if you think back, it was a very, very similar game. Mike's got the bomb, to tie it, but you gave yourself a chance. You didn't win it, but those guys use those experiences to become a really, really good players and really good team down the road.
And Bruce, last thing for me, you kind of touched on it at the end when you guys played Oklahoma State the first time. That's when you guys were, a very different team just in terms of who you guys actually had available. But of course, that is the game where you guys did hold Cunningham to only 5 points. The only time he's been under single digits this year, and since that game, he scored 18, 21, 19, 19, and just scored 26 against Kansas. I guess, is there any way to expect a similar performance for you guys again against him on Saturday?
I'd be really happy if we can hold him under 10 again. I don't know if that's possible. He's gotten better. I'm not sure. The first half, we did a great job on him. We actually played pretty well. If you go back and look, we weren't perfect by any means, but we did a great job staying compact, took away some of his easy looks, and then, but the second half down the stretch, his points, he did get going a little bit. When we kind of pushed him, they got the ball in his hands. They're smart. When they need baskets, they get it into his hands, and we're going to have to do a good job of staying in front of him, not giving him easy ones, make him earn everything.
All right. Thank you, Bruce.
Yep.
Okay, now we'll do one last question to Grant Flanders.
Hey, Coach, I know you don't like talking about yourself, but I had a question about how this team really does this. You lose to Kansas badly, but then come back without Dejuan and have 2 back-to-back, really, in my opinion, the best games of the season without one of your best players. And I do remember before Texas Tech, you mentioned that you may have lit a fire under them and gotten them to play that way. I'm just wondering if, I know it's the players have to do it themselves, but how important it was your role behind this too?
I think my biggest thing is I've tried, and I would tell you, I don't sleep a lot of nights. It's hard, you just wonder every day why things happen the way they do. But I just want to stay positive with them. I keep we keep pushing them. We did some drills that we hadn't done. We should have done early, but we didn't have the opportunity in practice because we didn't have people. Some old, you would never do your toughness drills late, maybe once in a while, just to kind of, but I just said, heck with it. We're going back to where we should have been with a foundation back in October and November. And, the guys responded, and we keep telling them we believe. And, I hope they keep believing, and I hope something good happens for them.